international public relations, the scope broadens. The public relations team at Amway, a global corporation based in the United States, works with colleagues in 58 countries around the world.
I think with international PR, my primary publics are the markets I serve and the affiliate relationships, which would be Amway China, Amway Taiwan, and Amway Hong Kong. Also the media and the government officials that work within those markets are people that I'm trying to reach through my relationships with those markets. And then also from a Nutrilite brand perspective, global brand perspective, how does our Nutrilite brand and messaging for the Nutrilite brand fit into what we're doing in all of our markets? So publics for that would be bloggers, social media, devotees and activists, people active in social media, traditional media, and athletes. We have a broad amount of publics, people that we need to reach, but our objectives are really to be transparent and to help people truly understand the brand. I think with Amway, a lot of people have a knee-jerk reaction to who we are. They don't understand our real story. Chinese media, Chinese government officials, the relationships that our China market builds with those government officials is very important to their jobs. They come and they visit our facilities in California, our Nutrilite farms, our Center for Optimal Health. They also come to headquarters here in Ada. And when they're here, it's my job to make sure that they understand what we're all about, that they see our company in the proper light, in a very transparent light, and recognize that we have an extensive manufacturing facility. We're very active in the community. We really care about the work that we do. And that always comes through when they visit here. And I know that's of huge help to our China market. And that applies to other affiliate markets that visit. If we have media from Taiwan or Hong Kong or Japan, anywhere in the world, when they come here, they walk away with a real strong understanding about what we're all about. And a lot of my research now, there are so many expats and foreigners, Westerners, living in China that are constantly communicating about the landscape there. These are journalists for Forbes, Wall Street Journal, people who've started their own communities and blogs within China. I follow those people every day. I've got RSS feeds connected to what they're saying. I follow all of them on Twitter. And Twitter, I have to say, as skeptical as I may have initially been to Twitter, Twitter is about listening. And the people that you follow, you really can tap into the stuff that you need to know about instantly. I do research when I need to. Often I need to write blog posts. I need to write stories for our company intranet site. And I'll research those pretty voraciously, digging up as much information as I can and finding leads. But my research is also kind of a form of osmosis. I just have my eyes open. I'm watching my Twitter feed. I'm listening to podcasts daily. I pay attention. I'm interested and I'm passionate. And if you have those characteristics, you're going to find what you need to know once you set your mind to it.
In international public relations, strategy must factor in differences in cultural perspective as well as government regulation.
It's different from one country to another. There are some countries where Amway has a good reputation. Many of those journalists would love to come here and see. But there are a number of countries that it's very difficult to convince journalists to come because of their perception toward Amway. We have our colleagues in the market in 58 other countries, so they are the one who is going to invite them. They're the one who pitch the story. In Japan, it's very difficult for direct selling company need to put any advertisement at all in their media, in their newspaper or whatnot. because they have some sort of a list of reputation of companies. If the reputation of company is A, then yeah, you can pay for a space. But if you're an F, then you're not allowed to do that. So trying to convince them to come, it takes a long time. But once they have this, change in mind, then it will be a lot easier for them to do. I used to think, or we used to perceive China as media in China as it's the government control. There will be a censorship here and there, but it's not. If it's just business, then it's okay, not a problem. It depends on which part of the government they're coming from, which agency. For instance, if it's commerce, usually every government official, we would love for them to meet with our CEO. But there are some specific government official that we need to have a meeting with specific executives. For instance, if it's from technical regulatory, from FDA branch in their country, then we're going to match them with whoever is taking care of that here. And sometimes we also invite government officials from the US so that they can connect with each other.
I don't think bloggers overseas are necessarily different from bloggers here in the US. I think bloggers in general are people that have something to say, maybe have an agenda, have things, specialized niche interests that they want to speak about, but there are cultural differences. And that's where you might see things differently, especially depending on the environment they're in. The government environment in China, bloggers are going to operate a little differently. They may try to push the envelope in different ways to avoid censorship and that sort of thing. Bloggers in other countries, if they're passionate about something, they're going to blog, whether it's in English or in their own languages. So the only differences would be cultural, and understanding how to navigate and understand their context and why they might believe about something from a cultural standpoint as well as from the content standpoint. We have our in-house production company now that we didn't have before. Part of our new intranet website, we call it Fuel, involves podcasting, video shoots, similar to what we're doing here, where we'll interview kind of thought leaders around the company and put together kind of documentary style short interviews about them, talking about strategy that they're working on, their day-to-day jobs and initiatives that are happening. So it's my job to make sure that we tell that story. And that's a nice add-on to things that are being written on the Fuel website as well, our intranet website. I also write blog posts, and anytime there's some sort of event that's happening in my markets, I'm usually called on to write about and find the information to publicize that event. I'm involved with posting that information into our social media accounts, into Twitter and Facebook, and making sure that that stuff is relevant and aligned. Our YouTube account, our Flickr account, so it runs the gamut. The tactics are different every day. Evaluating whether our work is valuable to the company, you kind of get into this quantitative versus qualitative analysis, and I think that in marketing systems, with a marketing approach, there is a lot of quantitative numbers. Marketers, executives want to see some sort of quantitative rise in a meter of that sort. They don't always understand the qualitative approach and the importance of relationships. Numbers, we need to have quantitative numbers. We use Cision. We use the tools that are out there to track the type of hits we're having if we're doing a campaign, if we're putting something together, some sort of sponsorship. There are ways to track it quantitatively. That's not hard to do. Those tools are available, and there are resources to help you do that. To me, that's not the main focus. It's that qualitative side. How do we build those relationships where we can look back holistically and from longer term and see that we have expanded talk about us, correct information.
For government officials, unfortunately, it's very difficult to measure because it is a long term. Usually, inviting government is a matter of bridging relationship, and I guess immediate measure of success would be if they come here, they see, and there's a comment that they give, very simple comment such as, "Oh, you make your own product." To me, that's success. And then if a year from now that government official meet with one of our executive, either here or in the market, to me that's a sign of success.
Advice to American students going into international public relations comes from an employee from Amway's China office.
There are three basic skills for PR relationships. One is to keep your eye open, to see everything around the world. We have to research and use the weights to learn it fast. So this is the basic skills, to use your eyes. And the second skills is use your ear. And you need to hear every kind of views, every kind of opinions around the world, even they are absolutely different sometimes. And the third skill is use your mouth or use your hand to say the truth and what you know about and what is our company culture, even around the world, in English or in different languages you know. So this is the basic skills, I think, for the PR students in the university.